Hi there VC, it's Steve Whitty here again and with another video, and this video is another contest entry. I've done one, I can't wait to do another. This is my entry to Vinyl Victims 100 Subs contest. Now, it's a great channel, Vinyl Victim, very knowledgeable on his music, very passionate. Now, his competition is you've got to pick a favourite album or your absolute favourite album of all time and basically give a rundown of everything connected with that album. Maybe some interesting facts, who mastered it, who engineered it, where it was recorded. All the stuff that maybe come across a little bit anarchy, but it's interesting to music fans nonetheless. So I had a bit of a problem here. If you've already chosen Back in Black as your example, I felt I couldn't really use that. That is my absolute all-time favourite album. So I've got a substitute, and I have chosen Queen's Night at the Opera. This album was released on the 31st of November 1975. It was recorded between August and November in 1975, and it was recorded at various studios in the UK. Let me open up the gatefold. It was recorded at Sarn, Roundhouse, Olympic, and probably most importantly, Rockfield Studios. It was also recorded at Scorpio and Lansdowne. It was mixed. The album was mixed at Sarn Studios. Producer was Roy Thomas Baker, and the executive engineer was Mike Stone. And you had additional engineering by Gary Lyons, and equipment supervision was by John Harris, and the art direction was by David Costa. The band members, if you didn't need any introduction, on the album, Freddie Mercury provided vocals. According to the album, Beckstein, Debauchery, and more vocals. Brian May, he played the guitars and produced the orchestral backdrops. Roger Taylor was percussion, and John B. Deacon was electric bass. At the time of the album, Queen were very famous for using no synthesizers, so it was all recorded by them. The album was mastered by Blaze. I don't know any more than that. Just by the say it was recorded at Blaze. I have no idea who actually at Blaze mastered the album. The album, when released, went to number 1 in the UK and I believe Australia as well, and top 10 in quite a lot of countries. It has sold 6 million copies so far. So far, so good. I think I might have mentioned about time recorded. This was the most expensive album recorded. Give a backdrop. At the time, Queen were sort of wresting themselves from their old management deal, and John Reid had taken over management of the band and sort of allowed them just to, you concentrate on the music, I'll sort all the business side of the situation out. And it was during one of these recording sessions at Rockfield that they were at late night watching some late film on the television. It just happened to be the Marx Brothers, A Night at the Opera, hence where they get the title for the album. The actual album itself is a mixture of tracks written by all the band. It says on the back, all titles composed, arranged, performed exclusively by Queen, and it is a mixture of all the band contributed a track to the album. Excuse me. This is one of the strengths of Queen, is that they're four in different songwriters. So let's run through the album. Side one opens up with Deaf on Two Legs, and in brackets dedicated to, and this is a Freddie Mercury tune, and at the time this was aimed really at the former manager, Norman Sheffield, who they were removing their old deal from, and while it was never directed at him aimed at him directly, it was pretty much sort of like I could best say sort of aimed at him indirectly, and so much so that Norman Sheffield did write a book denying all of it, but in a way he did admit it because he took the band to court for defamation and got an out of court settlement. The anger of the song in Freddie Mercury's lyrics, I think, even shocked some of the bands. And Brian May said in one of these classic rock videos that they were taken aback by the vitriol, but he still made the album nonetheless. Then it moves on to Lazy on a Sunday Afternoon, again a Freddie Mercury song, where it's almost like a musical pastiche. He played the pianos, performed all the vocals. Apparently, the lead vocal is sung the lead vocal is reproduced through headphones in a tin bucket, and the microphone picked up the sound from the bucket. So that's where you get the sort of megaphone sound. And then that leads straight into Roger Taylor's song "I'm in Love with My Car." It's basically a song about. It's dedicated to. Inspired by one of the band roadies, guy called Jonathan Harris, and it does say dedicated to Jonathan Harris, boy racer to the end. I don't think he passed on. He's just like driving around in his Triumph TR4. The revving sounds comes from Taylor's Alfa Romeo, which he was owning at the time. Next song is "You're My Best Friend," and this is the first single written by John Deacon. And he composed this while actually learning to play the piano. So the basic piano chords, just him just getting used to and handling the instruments. And it was written for his wife, Veronica. And it was a top 10 hit when released. It was the second single off the album. Brian May's first song on the album is 39, which is about it tells the tale of a group of space explorer who go on what they think is a year-long voyage. When they return, they find out that 100 years have passed and everybody they've known has died or has aged. Brian May plays the guitar on it. John Deacon plays double bass on there. In fact, when referring to the Marx Brothers night at the Opera, one of Groucho Marx's last appearances he made was actually meeting the band on tour in America, and they performed this acoustic version of this song to him. Then after 39, you've got "Sweet Lady," which is the rocker on the album, and it's just what their rock song, again a Brian May song. It just lets it all out on there. Side one closes with "Seaside Rendezvous," which again notable because they got the brass and woodwind instruments. Freddie Mercury imitates the woodwind sounds, and Roger Taylor does the brass instruments. And you hear tap dancing in the track. Well, that's created by Roger Taylor and Freddie Mercury tapping the mixing desk with thimbles on their fingers. Side 2 opens with the Prophet song. This is Brian May's "Tour de Force." This is the longest song Queen ever recorded at over 8 minutes. It's about a dream that Brian May had, when he was ill. During a sheer heart attack tour, he went to America. He contracted hepatitis and was very ill. And he put this song. It's basically the dream about Great Flood. You could relate that to the Bible and Noah's Ark. Leads on to Love of My Life, which was Freddie Mercury's song to his girlfriend and his long-time confidant, Mary Austin. The studio version, Freddie Mercury played the piano, Brian May played the harp. It ended up as just a 12-string arrangement for live performances, but it's the fans' favourite really, because they get the chance for them to sing along. But totally different what was on the record. Then you move on to Good Company, another Brian May song. He provided a brass band, Dixieland brass jazz style brass band, and this was all produced on his famous red guitar. All the instruments. So there was no and then obviously ukulele was played at the start of it, and then obviously we come to Bohemian Rhapsody, which is the well-known song on the album, single, probably made the album. And Freddie Mercury put this together. He wrote it really on a daily basis. He put it in blocks. And the band recorded their instruments, but there was no real idea how it was going to turn out. It was only Freddie Mercury in his head knew how this was going to turn out. And it was known as Fred's Thing before the official title came up. So it's sort of like pieced together, and then what we know and love now. But it was just literally bits and bobs, just pasted together. It's a cut and paste job really. But Freddie Mercury knew what he wanted in his head, and that was the most important thing. And I think it turned out it's one of those things that has the capacity to be brilliant, which it was, or it could have just died on its face and been classed as totally ridiculous. In fact, some people still think it's totally ridiculous. They just don't get it at all. And then the album finishes with the only cover version that Queen ever recorded. And it was God Save the Queen. It's and this was done by Brian May, who sort of like it just added it on, just the sort of thing you'd finish an opera with. So, and it was sort of like, in a sense, a bit of a homage to Hendrix' Star Spangled Banner. In fact, May did perform it on top of Buckingham Palace in 2002. So I hope that meets the criteria for the entry. As I say, it's the album I probably wouldn't mind taking with me onto my desert island. Though you would have to provide me with some solar power and a record player to play it with. It would be much use as a chocolate teapot otherwise. And there's my entry. So well done again for reaching 100 subs. And I'll say, if you haven't subscribed to Vinyl Victim, it's worth subscribing. It's worth entering, because you have to sit and think about your favourite album. It's actually quite difficult to come up with all that information. So until the next video, take care, VC.